Let's begin. Hello, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. My name is Aura Vasquez, and I want to welcome you to the last live stream of this year for Aura's virtual town hall meetings. Every Wednesday, we have been meeting, and sometimes we have been meeting even more to discuss different topics that are important and for our community and our lives. We had some incredible guests here speaking to us and educating us. And today, I am so excited to have Gabriel Dawn, who is actually going to guide us through a intention setting for 2021. We had a really a strange year for a lot of us. It's been quite intense with the pandemic and staying at home. And I wanted to do something a little bit different and give people the opportunity to have a space where they can center themselves and have a conversation about what is it that we want to manifest this 2021. So with no further ado, let me introduce you all and welcome. Please help me welcome Gabriel Dawn. Hi, Gabriel. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you guys can hear us fine, please let us know. And there were a few things that we needed to have ready for today. So can you tell us a little bit about what are some of the things that we needed to have so that everybody can kind of gather what they need, to start our intentions and goal setting for the day.
Private of a space as you can get, or if you're in fellowship with somebody, just a place and be able to refer back to it. Make sure that you come prepared to write it down and make it plain. And water is life, right? So I have mine is in my fancy cup. uh,
Mine is in my reusable cup.
so yeah, so doing that. I'm having some. Okay, there we go. I was having trouble hearing you, but there we go. So yeah, those things. And set the tone for you.
Before we start, I would just like to let folks that are watching right now a little bit about who you are and how did you arrive, because I found you through the wild world of the internet. And I love that you're a woman of color. I know that you really support and you're really embedded in your motherhood. So you're a mom, and that's really beautiful to see. So if you can maybe share with us a little bit about who you are and your work and a little bit about like your activism and all the speaking engagements that you do.
Um, yeah, I'm a new mom. Super just wonderful journey. It really has. I think that it really helped to bring me even closer to myself. Um, so I find wherever I am, for the time, and that's just my passion is helping people, sewing into people, because so much I think it just goes undiscovered and untouched in other people and in ourselves because somebody didn't take the time to just water us. So I'm a people waterer.
That's beautiful. I have never heard of that term. That is so wonderful. And as someone that works to protect our environment and to and to make sure that we have a planet that is for, available for future generations and for all of us. It's so beautiful to hear you say that you do that water is a big element in your practice.
Absolutely.
Okay, so how should we begin?
Okay, so we are going to first begin with some good deep breathing, okay? And mindful of that and being intentional about your breath work. So when we breathe, we're going to breathe in through our nose and out through our nose, and we're going to fill up our bellies. So we're not going to do any chest breathing. So let's try not to bring it up here. Let's try and fill it out. Push the belly out. I know we're always told to suck it in, but that's not a proper technique. So you're going to sit up straight. Okay, make sure you have your good posture. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Bring your hands, your palms down to your thighs, okay? And we're going to breathe in through our nose. In through the nose. Out through the nose. Exhale for 6. Inhale for 3. Some time and breathe with ourselves, okay? And during this time, just begin to think to yourself, what do I need to become more intentional about? What areas can I improve? And in what areas do I need to nurture me more? One more good deep breath, in through the nose, and out through the nose, push it all out. And then come on back with me.
That was so sweet. If you guys enjoy that 2 minute breathing, please put a heart in the comments and let us know how you enjoyed it, or if this was helpful, or what came up. I know that it's hard to have a conversation with everybody else that is watching, but you can always write in the comments. Welcome to write your comments and your experience too.
So we want to always remember the breath. I think sometimes people, we get beside our own selves sometimes, forgetting that. And if you can just take time to think back to when you may have been triggered, what's the first thing you lose control of? It's the breath. You start to breathe rapidly. They're short. The chest is coming up and down. The thoughts get to racing. And then we begin to react in ways that we otherwise would not have if we just would have taken a moment and said, all right, let me just reassess. Let me first breathe, and then let me reassess so I know how to better react. So being mindful of the breath always is number one.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I always tell people is the importance of water. Like I say, I'm a people waterer. You are in the industry to protect the environment, to raise awareness. And so much of what we wish to do, we can't do because we are not watering ourselves. We're not taking care of ourselves in the manner in which we should be doing so. And so we have to become accountable. So the first thing that I encourage people to do when you wake up in the morning, give thanks, and then you drink some water.
Yeah.
Before you even reach for the phone, drink your water yourself physically, because whenever we are physically depleted, then our mental and our spiritual self is depleted as well. It's difficult to give and to put out what we're not ingesting. So we become what we consume. So being intentional about things like that, and taking the responsibility to do so. Accountability is so powerful, because whenever you really sit with yourself and you say, "Oh, I have the power to change this. I have the power to be this and to do this. If only I get a hold of this one thing." It's so powerful. It's such a
Mm.
powerful thing. So being mindful of that. I when you had first asked me about, joining your live, I was like, I was taken aback, and I was so appreciative. And I began to kind of just sit with it and think like, hey, what am I going to talk about? In what ways can people become more intentional? And there are several different aspects of being intentional. But today, whenever I was really sitting with myself, it was like an epiphany. It was an epiphany. And so I have some notes, guys, because like I said, I'm a writer. I write notes, and then as we're doing this, I may be writing too, just whenever things come to me. So just want to let you know that I am present, but I'm reviewing the things that I have written. But a huge factor of being intentional is alignment. And what we want, we should be aligning ourselves with those things. Um, so often we say, "Oh, I want greatness. I want to have this wonderful love," for instance. I want to have the best love of my life, or I want that. But we're not nurturing the things that are going to bring in that love. We're not creating the space for that love. By first, we're not even taking care of ourselves, right? Or we're not being accountable with who we are right now. And are we even able to reciprocate?
I can we just pause there for 1 minute because that was so profound for me, and this is something that I have heard before. But for example, I'm single. I don't have children. I'm not married. And I have I have a beautiful community. So many people, and it's amazing. But it just really hit home when you said, sometimes we want to have love or we want to find love, but we don't make the time. We don't make the space. And I feel that maybe that's a little bit of my problem, that I have been so submerged in work, and my work is my passion with my activism and my politics,
Mm-hmm.
and it's such a mesh of like just working for the community and the movement, but it's also like my personal life that has really, yeah, like I can totally resonate with. I just have not made time
Yeah.
for for a relationship, and maybe that's the case also, maybe for losing weight or for reading books, or for other things that people, or maybe be closer to family, or be more in touch with nature. Like all these things have such they need space, they need physical space, in terms of like time, and they need emotional and spiritual space as well.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, you have to put in the work no matter what. A lot of times we say, "Oh, I want to lose weight." But if I'm aligning myself with poor eating habits and I'm not active, which I have done before, so I can talk about it because I've been there, right? Um, so if I'm not aligning myself with being healthier, right, then what am I really doing? So being intentional, everything has to begin to align. And whenever
Mhm.
you really take the time to assess and say, "Okay, what do I want and what am I doing?" And whenever you take the time to say, "Well, this is what I want and what I'm doing is not going to get me here," then you can
Mhm.
start to shed away on a lot of those habits and old ways that are not serving us and aren't nurturing us. So um,
Absolutely.
yeah, even sometimes I think I put discovering and acknowledging your purpose and your gifts are even powerful. Because whenever you discover your gifts and your purpose, that realization comes with so many convictions. And whenever you feel convicted about something, you're like, there are just certain things I'm not going to do, certain things I'm not going to engage in because it's going to take me further from my purpose, right? Even with me, so I'm a speaker and a spoken word artist. And one of the things that I used to be a little short tempered. Thank God for growth, I always say. And I was coming into the realization, like, you have a gift with words. This is your gift. Your purpose is to speak life into people. So if you feel provoked, this is me to myself. If you feel antagonized or whatever else, that person still does not have the power to take you out of you, to take you out of your purpose. So what you have to do is say, it is my job to speak life and to grow people. And the second that I'm being tempted to do otherwise is whenever I have to take a step back and check my breath and reassess, right? And that doesn't mean that I don't fall short, but whenever I do, I repent for that, and not just repent to the Most High, but I repent to the person that I've offended, right? Or wherever I've fallen short. So being mindful of that as well, like my convictions and our convictions, period. Whatever your personal beliefs are and your personal convictions are, they truly do govern you. So whenever you come into self and you start to say, oh, wow, this is like a gift of mine, and this is how I apply it, and I'm starting to discover my purpose, is anything outside of that, you see it getting ready to detour you off of your path, you're coming and circling right back around, because you're like, no, it's too costly. It's too costly.
Wow, that's another one. And I feel it relates a little bit with, for a lot of us, learning how to say no. And learning that, if we want to be writers, for example, if you want to be a writer, you should all your goals and all your tasks and everything else that you try and your intention should be geared to that.
Yeah.
So if they ask you to go on a trip around the world, maybe not so great for your writing. I mean, fun, but and I feel definitely I can also resonate with that, because as someone that I constantly get pulled by people about projects and stuff like that, I had a hard time learning how to say no, and also just setting healthy boundaries and saying, right now I'm starting an organization called Ready to Help. I want to write a book. I want to really get more involved with my, Democratic Party and stuff like that. So, maybe right now doing other things is not aligned to that. So I really appreciate you bringing that up, because it's important for us to really look at where is it that we're going and just align everything like the stars, to get there.
Absolutely. Sometimes saying no, it looks and feels different because we're told that we should be supporting and doing a lot. We should always be active. We should always be, and that's not to say that you can't still render some level of support, but you have to be real with you and say, well, this is what you have the capacity and the space to do right now. Anything outside of that, you are going to lack, and therefore there will be lack within them, and nobody's going to appreciate lack, right? So being wise and embracing, like, this is where I am, and accepting it, and just saying, and your tribe, other intentional people will understand that, and they'll honor that. And anybody who doesn't, we just hope and pray that they circle back around into wisdom, and that they do. But either which way it goes, like, some things I tell people, like, I just can't afford to let go of. I just can't afford to relinquish this, because it's not going to be good for any of us. And I have to make sure that at the end of the day, that I'm nurturing myself, because if I don't nurture myself, how am I going to nurture anybody else? If my seed doesn't take root and I don't grow into the tree that I'm supposed to be, how am I going to bear the fruit that you need me to bear for your benefit? How am I going to bear the shade that you need me to bear whenever you need to take rest? So let me get this together first, and then I got you.
Absolutely. And I love what Courtney Lanise, I believe, if I mispronounce your name, Courtney, I apologize, but I love what you just said, which is self-care includes honoring your boundaries and not overexerting yourself. So
Yeah.
important. So important.
Yeah. One of the things that I was, whenever you just said, you're kind of being pulled sometimes in different directions, is making sure that we are in alignment with the relationships that are also nurturing us.
Mm.
And reciprocity is so important. So we have to become more intentional about our relationships, and being direct about what we expect from another person, and from that relationship. I do life coaching and different things like that. So with my clients, of course, I don't expect them to pour back into me, but I have to be able to give to them from my overflow. So if I'm not all the way filled up and in my overflow, then what I'm giving is not, it's taking away from me. So I have to make sure that I'm doing my part to nurture myself. That way I can pour over into their lives. But for my relationships with my friends, say like some of me and my closest girlfriends, we always talk about this. And it's like we're very clear about what we want from each other, what we expect from each other. And that's beautiful, because there's no room for anything to get lost in translation.
Mm.
There have been moments, even earlier this year, I was just going through it. And we have a group chat. And I was like, look, I'm going through it right now. Y'all already know. But please don't take my silence personally, or my distance personally. And they were like, they just were so reassuring and so comforting and loving and tender with me. But even then, I was like, I didn't have much to give, and they just filled me up. My whole tribe did. Everybody that was around me just continued to pour into me. And now that I'm back on track, I'm able to pour back into them. So understanding that reciprocity is not always in the moment. Sometimes I'm going to be able to pour into you way more than what you're able to pour into me. And that's okay, because I know when it comes back around, you're going to be pouring into me, whenever I'm in the desert.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the desert can be many things. Like I'm impatient, or I am,
Mhm.
I'm lacking self-love, and that comes in many different ways. Maybe I'm overeating, maybe I'm not eating enough, maybe I'm not sleeping, maybe I'm being short with people, maybe I'm acting out in different ways. So that desert can come in show up in many different ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Absolutely. So I think just being intentional about what we want, and just standing in that and what we expect. I think it's totally acceptable to have expectations of yourself and of the people around you when you're clear about it. And that's what gets a lot of us in trouble. People don't want to be clear about things because they don't want to come off as this or that. But if you're not clear about your intentions and clear about what you're able to give, then so much can get lost and will get lost in translation. And I think so many people lose out on love and on blessings and meaningful relationships, both business and personal, because we're not clear about those things. So don't shrink when you want something. Don't shrink whenever you expect something. Just be clear, and be gentle and be gracious, of course, but be firm in what it is that you need and what you expect.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point.
Yeah, yeah. I just saw a comment and it says, everyone deserves clarity you can give. Um, that
That's
is
how
how
you
you
maintain those meaningful relationships. So being
absolutely
clear boundaries, having clarity of what you expect and what you want from other people.
a word. a word.
Yeah, I'll think this one.
Yes, love that. Absolutely. Um, some other areas I think that people could stand to be more intentional is in our physical space, right? And what we surround ourselves with and what we consume. Like I kind of touched on a little bit, making sure that the first thing that you do is drink your water. Okay.
Yeah.
Not hopping on the phone, not scrolling through all these, all this content, because it doesn't matter. Even I think sometimes we think, oh, I've got like a really great set of Facebook friends, or I only follow this type of content online and it's so positive and this, that, and the next. You don't have control over what you're about to see.
Yeah.
As intentional as you think that you are about what you're consuming in our virtual world, you don't have control over what somebody else posts. So being mindful and being wise to say, what do I need to do whenever I first wake up to set the tone for my day, and what it is that I came here to do, my mission. And I truly believe that whenever if everybody, if we could just do a little challenge for a week, let's do it. If we could do a 7-day challenge where we say, hey, for the next 7 days when I wake up, I'm not reaching for the phone. I'm reaching for at least 8 ounces of water, of room temp water. Fresh squeezed lemon in it is even better.
Yes.
And I'm going to first break my fast of sleep through consuming my water. And then I'm just going to sit for a little bit. I'm just going to sit for a little bit. And it doesn't have to be anything. Yes, key lime in the water. There we go.
People are excited. And now that you're touching a little bit about like centering and being mindful, so we drink our water in the morning. So don't go on your phones. Don't turn on the news. I used to be that person. That first thing I did was turning on the news. Oh my God, what a way to start the day. At least have some water before, go to the bathroom, you know. But somebody's asking, what is the importance of human frequency and finding self in meditation? So I think it's perfect because this kind of goes through what you're about to to take us.
Yeah. So everything is a vibration. Life. Everything is a vibration. Everything carries an energy or a spirit. And being mindful of that and honoring that, I think, keeps you mindful of how you move about in this world. Because whenever you come into that realization, there are certain things I think you're more mindful of engaging or careful about engaging with. So, excuse me. Whenever you take note and take heed, like, okay, everything has a vibration, a frequency, a spirit, an energy, all those things, those words are interchangeable. So don't be afraid if you don't join and you're like, ooh, talk about some mystic stuff. So being mindful of that as you begin to sit with self. I tell people all the time, like, that quiet time is so powerful. So often we have to have the news going or have to be scrolling through our phones or always have to have music playing or something going on in the background to distract us from ourselves. And it can become extremely dangerous, I say, because if you can't sit by yourself and listen and hear, how can you find your purpose? How can you really truly find and honor discernment? How can you do any of that? How can you sense when danger is coming? Right? How can you pick up when somebody's intentions aren't pure with you because you have not been able to sit with yourself and to say, hey, this doesn't feel right, or this feels a little off. But because you're cluttered, your spirit is cluttered, your mind is cluttered, you're not able to discern those things. So it's so incredibly important that we learn to sit with ourselves, but it's a practice. So if you haven't done it ever, or you only do it here and there, it's not to say that you need to, the first thing on the 7 days that we're going to do a little mini challenge to say, I'm going to sit with myself for an hour in deep meditation and prayer. Well, maybe you should start off like with 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Maybe you should
definitely.
start off, with 3 minutes, because our habits are our addictions. We have these this kind of new way of life with these phones and our gadgets and this and that, and it's constantly like we're constantly being overstimulated. But a lot of times when you're overstimulated, you're undernourished. So,
Absolutely. Oh my God, that just hit me too.
mhm,
That is so true. Like, so yeah,
yep,
you're overly stimulated with your phone and your computer and your friends and your parties. And well, and COVID has been or complaining about COVID, or, or like, oh my God, now I got to be extra prepared to go to the supermarket or whatever it is, that
yeah,
that voice that is inside of you is so dying to thirsty
mhm,
to like
yes,
come out and for you to listen to it. And I want to share like a personal story for me, and actually I feel this is totally 360, because in 2011 I discovered meditation. I actually was introduced to meditation 15 years ago by a very close friend of mine in New York. Um, and uh, but it didn't really sink in until 2011. I was in LA and I started going to Against the Stream, which was a meditation center in LA. And and I just remember it being so powerful
yeah,
that I Googled how long does it take for somebody to create a new habit, because I was submersed. Like I was just like literally like I found a drug, or like I found a new thing. It just gave me so much of what I was looking for, and I think I also was ready at that moment to receive all of that.
mhm,
So it said that you needed to do something for 28 days to trigger something in your brain so that you can like. And I went to meditate at 7 in the morning at that center every day for a month with
mhm,
other meditators. We were 5 or 6 who used to meditate for a half hour, 45 minutes, and then have a conversation. So it was a big sense of community. I tell you, even my work changed. That was
mhm,
the years where I was the most productive, the most inspired, the most nourished, the most growth. 2 years later, I mean, I became a very involved meditator, very disciplined. 2 years later, I won, a big campaign in LA. I helped LA divest from coal, get off of coal, which was something huge that people thought that
yeah,
that would never happen, you
yeah,
know. And I can really testify for meditation and how powerful it is and how transformative it is. It's been for me. I started going to 10-day silent retreats,
mhm,
Vipassana retreats. So I totally encourage people to find those 3 minutes, 2 minutes to sit with
mhm,
yourself and in silence and to listen to that voice. And sometimes that voice is very angry. My
yeah,
little voice was so angry at points, and sometimes it's very sad, and
yeah,
sometimes it's also very happy. But it was
yes,
just so powerful. It's meditation is so powerful.
it is. And what you just said was so beautiful. When you said sometimes that little voice is angry, sometimes it's sad, because nobody really teaches you how to concentrate. They just tell you concentrate
Yeah.
growing up. They don't really teach you how to sit with yourself and concentrate on something. And a lot of times, I think especially now, we're coming into so much understanding about the way we were kind of reared and programmed um, as a society, and we think it's wow, this isn't that great, right? This what I thought things were are not, or what the way that I thought things should be were actually harmful to me or harmful to other people. So sometimes that voice is angry, and you just have to sit with it,
Hmm.
and begin to break it down and say, okay, why do I feel this way? Why is my voice angry? Why am I sad? Why am I frustrated? Why, whenever I'm confronted with an issue, why do I shrink and shut down? So taking that time to discover self is truly healing. But I tell people all the time, I'm not one of these social media healers that's going to tell
Right.
you, oh, this is like, it's just all love and light. And anything outside of love and light is not positive. Because in order to get to a positive, you've got to overcome so many negatives. You have to confront them head on. And it gets very, very ugly. It can get very ugly. It can be very painful. And while you're fighting your way out of that darkness, you have to be able to allow yourself to truly take root in that soil. So that way you can grow out into the light and become, who it is that you need to be. But before you do that, you grow deeper into the darkness. You grow deeper into the soil to take root. So being mindful of those things, that while you're discovering that voice, if you haven't taken the time to do it in 2020, I encourage you to do it in 2021.
Start now
Yeah,
because it's so powerful. I totally agree with you. And there is there is something so powerful to accept that voice, that angry voice, sad voice, things that are not so like glorify in like joy or happiness. I'm so happy. I'm great. I have everything, and sometimes you're not that fucking great, guys. Like, just face it. Sometimes you wake up and you just don't feel that great. Like,
yeah,
it's just life,
yeah,
and how to talk to that voice and say, it's okay.
yeah,
It's okay that you're not okay and you don't even know why. Let's just drink some water. Let's just sit with ourselves and let's handle whatever it is that is, just like let it through, because it's impermanent, which is something
yeah,
that I also learned, through meditation. Yeah.
absolutely. Um, One of the things that I had just posted about yesterday was like my journey with motherhood, and how I enjoy it. I think I was one of those people that it was like, you're supposed to be somebody's mother. I truly do. But I think one of the more challenging aspects that I've faced is the things that I had to confront within myself.
Mm.
So, those fears, areas where I know I fall short in, but because nobody was relying on me the way that she relies on me, I didn't have to necessarily address it. I kind
Mm.
of deal with it here and there. But now that I have this child who depends on me, and looks to me, I'm like, oh no, I gotta address this, because she's going to be a woman in this world one day. So I have to
Mhm.
make sure that I'm who I'm supposed to be. So she has the example, and she can maneuver in wisdom and in grace and in power. So I think that that's one of the challenging aspects of motherhood for me. But I've
Mm.
embraced it. Like I posted, I said, I'm a wolf, and I can say it with my chest because my child brought it out of me. Like, I
Mm.
fully surrender to motherhood and to this journey so that I could, just continue to become who I've been called to be.
Absolutely. Okay, so I have a journal. You ask
Mhm,
us to bring a journal or something to write on. If you're not a journal person, no worries. Grab a page, grab a newspaper.
mhm.
Don't grab I would say grab the notes on your phone, but then that means that you will have to not be in the stream. So don't do that. Stay
Okay.
with us because we're about
Yeah,
to start writing some good stuff. Um, so okay, let's get to the piece where we need to start thinking now about what are our intentions for 2021.
yeah.
I'm ready here.
So I want to encourage everybody to write down, what do you want? Write down. Take a couple of minutes and write down what it is that you want going into your 2021. And even if it's something and it's like, well, this is like, I want this in 5 years. If it's coming to the front of your mind, whatever it is, just write it down.
Okay, so what do you want going into 2021? So it doesn't matter if it's a huge goal or a small goal. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter if it's, I want a dog, or I want to buy a house,
Mhm.
or I want to travel the world, or I want to lose weight, or
Mhm.
I want to be more patient.
There we go.
So,
Anything.
anything. But if you will be willing, if
Mhm.
you have a big list, just write one thing in the comments so that we can all, maybe somebody else also has that,
Yeah.
intention. So, you know, so I'm writing my intentions here. What if somebody's thinking, I have no idea how to start this process? Like, I have my notebook, I have the question, I'm looking at the question, I have no idea what to write.
You have no idea. Oh, there's somebody who said they have no idea what to write.
Yeah,
Okay.
what to
What
write.
are things that you want right now? Like what's something that would improve your quality of life right now? So it doesn't have to be anything super deep. Sometimes people think like it has to be that I want to, author my first book, or I want to, finish this degree in a year, or whatever else, whatever it is that is going to improve your quality of life. Just write that down. Even if it's like, I just want to make an extra $500 a month, so I'm not worried about this little stimulus. So
Somebody's asking if it doesn't need to be concrete. So please ask your questions as we're going through this process. Does it need to be something concrete?
um no, it can be it's your want, it's your desire. So and be mindful of that too. Like what is good for you may not be the best thing for me. Right? So if in your goal or in your desire you need to be more fluid, then be more fluid. Put that down. Or if your goal is something where you're gonna have to be flexible, then that's fine. Just write that down.
Yeah. So, for example, and while everybody's working on their intentions, I've been thinking a lot about my intentions. I feel like this whole pandemic, I've been thinking about my intentions for
Girl.
2021. But one of my intentions is find more patience, to be more patient. So, finding breath and be more gentle and graceful. So,
Mm,
this is where this goal or this intention, because I feel like maybe we should talk about what maybe the difference between goals and intentions are. This intention comes from, we live in a world, in a patriarchal society, whether I like it or not,
mhm.
we live in a patriarchy. And if
Yeah.
you didn't know that, let me let you know that we live in a patriarchy society.
Right.
And I feel that much of the role of a woman, it's 2020 and we're about to go on 2021, and I feel like women have come. I mean, look, we have the first vice president of the United States is a woman. But I do feel that sometimes the expectation is that women are gentle and are, this, like, so not even so spoken, but that we have a degree of understanding that is beyond anybody's understanding. And
Hmm.
sometimes I feel that I'm very certain and confident about what I'm saying and what I know, and when I speak and when I share ideas. But I think sometimes my tone maybe is the problem, that is very strong for people. And it's not that I'm upset or anything like that, but it's just like it's strong. So I have been thinking about that, and I've been wanted to welcome and to have more, in set an intention about bringing more, grace and more gentleness.
Hmm.
Because sometimes it's not about what we said, but it's how we say it.
I would say it.
So that's something that, as you all thinking about your goal setting, or well, I'm sorry, your intention setting for 2021, that is just something that resonates with me. And this is not like I need to make $2,000, or I need to find a boyfriend, or I need a job, but it's something that I think I lost you in my on Instagram.
Yeah,
uh,
I'm joining back.
uh, is something that is worth to be intentional about. At least for me, is
Yeah.
is something that is important for me because I think it affects my personal life, my work life, and and having, and also because I want to welcome uh, a spirit or even an aura,
Right,
of
right.
more, of just more welcome. I want people to feel safe. I want people to feel welcome when they're around me, and I want people to feel that they have a space to be themselves and that they can, share things. And I'm like, oh, okay, so
Right.
that's why I feel like I'm
Yeah.
setting. This is one of the intentions that I'm setting. So everybody, bear with us. We lost Gabrielle on Instagram, but she's gonna tune in right
Yeah.
back.
I'm
If
popping back.
you are, if you are like, oh my God, what happened? You can also go to my YouTube channel or my Facebook. We're streaming all across platforms, so you can also
Yeah.
join us.
Yes, yes. But I'm joining Instagram. I think my phone got overheated. Girl, I need to get a new phone. I'm just gonna keep it real. I know I need to get a new one. Um, so yeah, I'm trying to get on. But I think that that's beautiful. Because one of the things that um, everything that you were just saying right now was acknowledgement. It's you acknowledging, hey, this is where I am. And this is something that I want because it's going to help people um, be more comfortable, help people feel more loved, and all these other things. So, okay, I'm getting on your page now.
There
Let
you
me
go.
join the live. There we go.
For
Okay.
the All right. Thank you for your patience. She's coming back on Instagram. So we hear you. We hear you, son.
Here we go. Okay.
No,
Okay. Can you? There we go. Send
I don't see
request.
you yet. So as
Okay.
soon as I see you, I will. There you go. Okay, perfect.
Okay. Are we
We are
here?
back. Thank you for the Facebook. It could be
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, we got you.
Okay. Better.
Yeah, we're on.
Thank you. All right. See, and this is a perfect example of grace. Being great, extending grace. So thank you, everybody that's watching, for extending grace to us. I truly appreciate it.
So I'm wondering if some folks that are watching online are willing to share maybe one of their intentions for 2021. So we
Yeah.
can, we can maybe have a discussion. I share one. I have many intentions here. And I also think that the energy of putting it out there, especially in this space that we have created together, is very beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all centering ourselves here with our breath and water, and we have had a healthy discussion about setting intentions and being present in frequency and energy and meditation. And I think it will be great to just put it out there, guys. Like, don't be afraid. And we all send them good vibes your way for this 2021 to manifest all of the things that you guys want. So
Yeah.
let's go.
So who wants to
Who
share?
wants to share that intention? Okay, I see. Let me see. Is this true fluidity, peace of mind, alignment? I want to be a good steward in my relationship with God. Oh,
Beautiful.
found.
Beautiful. I intend to discover daily meditation.
I intend to discover. Open my heart to build new close relationships. Oh, wonderful. I desire to be up more than the negatives of everyday life provoke me to be down. If that makes,
I love
yeah,
that.
that's amazing. Yeah, be more positive.
Thank y'all for sharing. All these are so beautiful.
And for folks on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, please, on Twitch too, please post also what your intentions are so we can, all send amazing energy and vibes your way.
I also want the stimulus money to be more than $2,000 about that. Thank you for the idea of that.
Let's go ahead and put that out there.
I'm putting it out there. Can we get more from this stimulus money? And can they take less time to get there, please? Can we look at a month or two max?
That part. I think so these goals are so beautiful, y'all. Thank you so much for sharing. I know it's not easy to put your goals, your thoughts, your desires, your heart out there. And I just saw so many people's hearts in these comments. So I appreciate you for sharing that. And I want to encourage you all that whenever you fall short, because we all do at some point, to just remember grace within yourself and circle back around and just get back on track. Being mindful of those things is so powerful. We sometimes become hypercritical of self, and it can be dangerous because we can become so critical of what we're doing or what we are not doing or haven't done, that it causes us to just throw in the towel and give up, or to become super negative, right? There's a difference between accountability and holding yourself accountable than being hypercritical of self and being overly, it's almost like abusive. Like we're not nurturing what we need to nurture. There are some things in us that do need to be uprooted, and that's fine. Let's get to it. Let's get in our garden. Let's uproot those things. But there are a lot of things in us that need a lot of love and nurturing and firmness and replanting. And sometimes those good things come up out of the ground and we need to replant them and root them back in there. So being mindful of that. Whenever you have a goal to stick to your meditation, to continue to pursue a relationship with God, to create meaningful relationships with the people around you. There are going to be times and moments where you may fall short. You may not get up when you need to. You may not do and say the right things. You may become triggered. And sometimes we allow our triggers to overcome us to the point where it's like in the moment we seems like the moment is ruined or lost. But what you have to do is take that time and say, hey, I didn't do the right thing yesterday or a couple of minutes ago, but moving forward, let me prepare myself to do better going into these next moments.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, so we're setting up these goals. It's December 30th. We have them in our notebooks, and I encourage you, we have a short time here, we only have an hour, but, keep working on your intentions. What do you recommend them after this show? Like, I usually put them in postages or like in a little, note, and I have them in my bedroom so that I know. I'm like, oh, I have this like stuff that I want to get to, that I'm putting intentions to. So what are some of the practices, just to wrap up, that you recommend for us to do with our intentions?
Yeah, once you write down your intention, write down what you're doing right now and have a real moment with yourself and say, is what I'm doing right now in alignment with what I want? And if the answer is no, write down next to that, what do I need to do to have this?
Ooh, okay. Hold up. That was good. Okay, so I have my intentions. And so then this question asks me to evaluate. So what is it that I'm doing right now to make sure that I get to these goals, these intentions? And I answer that. And then the third question is, what do I need to do to get there?
Yes. So, for instance, one of I think the easiest examples for me is whenever I wasn't eating right and I wasn't active. And I was like, okay, I want to lose all of this weight that I gained, but what do I need to do to lose it? Or no, first it was, what am I doing right now? I'm overeating and I'm not active and I'm depressed, right? So what do I need to do? What's the next line? Okay, I need to start eating right. I need to become active, and I need to kind of get to the root of what's happening with me emotionally. And whenever I did that, I got to Xing away habits that were not nurturing my growth.
Ooh, those are really three good ones. Okay, so basically journal, your intentions. And, I also encourage you, for everyone that is watching, I encourage folks to check in maybe, I like to check in the new moon, because it's the moon of planting, if you're a farmer, it's the moon to setting intentions, it's the moon to water, to put the seed. So I usually like to go on my intentions that day. And on the full moon, I check in and I said, oh, okay, my intention for this month was to be more active.
Yeah.
Was I more active? Did I go more to nature? Did I connect with new friends or old friends? Did I cook more at home? Did I save my whatever $100 that I said I was gonna save? Did I not eat chocolate every night before going to sleep? Did I, whatever it is that you do? And it's such a great practice to come back to these three questions every month, so that you can like check in with yourself.
Absolutely.
Any questions, folks that are watching? Any of the folks on social media that would like to ask a question for Gabrielle? We have about 5 more minutes before we end, but I would like to open the floor for folks, or maybe if you want to say thank you or anything that maybe resonated with you, please post it on the comments. I will be sharing this video later with the prompts, the questions, so that you guys can have them in case you forget. Or maybe you went to the bathroom and didn't and missed this little piece, so that you can, watch again.
Indeed. Any questions?
See if the folks have any questions.
Okay.
I think everybody's just kind of thinking about what is it that they want?
What was your biggest accomplishment in 2020? What is one thing you hope to accomplish in 2021? Oh my.
So the question is for other folks that are not seeing this question, what was your biggest accomplishment in 2020? And what is the one thing that you hope to accomplish in 2021?
So for me, this was the most difficult year of my life, the most painful year of my life, to be quite frank. And I did not lose myself. I allowed myself to grieve, and I'm still grieving some things. But my character, who I am, is who I say I am. And for me, that was powerful. It's like sometimes we think we're this person, and then whenever challenges come, we lose all of those good qualities or those powerful qualities, right? But I didn't lose those. Even whenever I was pressed and I was crushed, I still remained steadfast in my convictions. So remaining in my convictions was by far the most powerful accomplishment of 2020. And what I hope to accomplish in 2021 is helping other people discover those convictions on this level.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you for that. Somebody else is asking, did you recommend writing out negative or depressive thoughts on paper as a letter and burning it to rid yourself of that energy?
Yeah, absolutely. I do that. Sometimes I was afraid to write down negative things that I was feeling, because I was like, if I write it down, then that means it's true, or it's going to come to pass, or whatever else. So as a way to rid myself of it completely, I burn it. I write it out, and then I say I release it, you know. And then after you do that, though, make sure that what you are practicing in your day-to-day is you releasing it. So you may write it down and burn it, but for instance, if it's resentment or unforgiveness, whenever you find yourself provoked by that person or a situation, those feelings come back up. So you have to say, I release this right now. I'm letting this is not going to take control over me. So remembering that.
That is good too. I definitely got to work through some resentment. Woo! Okay. One person is asking, and on Facebook, they're asking, what does Kwanzaa mean to you?
What does Kwanzaa mean to me?
Kwanzaa mean to you, yeah.
Oh, Kwanzaa is, it's funny, I have a Facebook group, and we're celebrating Kwanzaa in our private Facebook group.
Oh.
So, yeah, I asked some people to head that because I was busy. But I think that Kwanzaa is a beautiful, just cultural expression and celebration for African Americans, because so much of what we do and knew or know now is based solely off of ancestral memory and what we were able to carry with us. So being able to make something out of nothing is beautiful and powerful to me. And that's one of the reasons I'm so proud of my culture as an African American woman.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Gabrielle, for joining me today. I feel like we need to do this again at some point down the line, and everybody needs to commit to come back when I have Gabrielle back so we can check in about our intentions for 2021. And if you have been drinking enough water, and if you also have been, keeping up with your intentions and writing them what you want, and also what is it that you're doing right now, to get there, and what do you need to do, in order to get there. So I really hope that this session was beautiful for everyone. And again, this is my last live stream of the year. So it means a lot to me that everybody tuned in. And thank you so much to everyone that at some point has come across to this blog. I really, I started this really to have a place for us to have a conversation, and we have created such beautiful community. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me every week or whenever you can. Thank you so much. I want to leave us with something that I always do with the groups that I lead. So with Ready to Help, for example, that is my organization, my mutual aid that I founded. Other organizations, I always ask people, say in one word how you're feeling right now. So before we go, I'm going to let Gabrielle close. But as we listen to her, if you're watching right now, please just put in the comments in one word, how you're feeling right now. And I hope everybody has a great, holiday tomorrow, and we'll get to talk soon. Gabrielle, please take it away.
I'm feeling well.
If you want to close us off with anything, just as we wait for folks to to share their one word. There you go. We got excited.
Yes, I'm feeling well. I'm feeling loved. And I just want to leave everybody with the affirmation that you are enough. And there's no need to continue to search outwardly for self whenever you can sit with self and discover you.
That's beautiful. I appreciate so much that you took the time to be here with me, and that we came, for some random weird universe reason came together. And I hope this is not the last time that we see each other. Please stay in touch, and I wish you a beautiful holiday tomorrow, a happy New Year, and everyone happy New Year. And we'll see each other in 2021.
We will.
Beautiful. Have a great night.
You too, love. Y'all be well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And you all met Sophia behind me, my brother's parrot. And I'm so happy that this 2020, I got the opportunity to see my family. That's been one of the greatest gifts that I got. Happy New Year, everyone. We're going to get this 21 and it's going to be amazing. We're walking to it and through it with all we got. We're going to beat this pandemic together. Don't forget to stay close to your loved ones, to check in with them, to wash your hands, to use your mask, to take your vitamins, to drink more water, and let me know how you guys all do tomorrow night as you celebrate the welcoming of the new year. Have a wonderful evening, you guys, and I talk to you guys